I am Decathlon Gamer, and welcome back to PCM23. This is Lions episode number 19, and we are into July with huge news. And it's not about our finances, it's about the progression of the database within the game and our goals and objectives. And a huge gift from Benyam Girmay. Girmay has won Stage 5, sprint stage, here at the Tour de France. He's currently the holder of the green jersey, the points jersey. Pogacar has also seen progression for Slovenia. Now 7 points for popularity in Slovenia, which is insane because of the training structure so high already. But Girmay also picking up a point for Eritrea, adding to the popularity there, now at a 7. This is the second time that he has gained something. End of the first season, he had enough points overall to bring the training structure from a 3 up to a 4. Now he has picked up enough points in popularity, or by winning a Tour de France stage, to increase the popularity from a 6 to a 7. So we've gone from a 6-3 to now a 7-4 for Eritrea. We're going to start getting some really good riders coming through the database with those bonuses, and I think Girmay is pretty high on the rankings right now. He is. He currently sits in 8th place in the individual rankings, which is going to give a very strong possibility, especially, it's only stage 5, okay? It's only stage 5, but if he wins that green jersey, the points that he is going to be picking up over the course of this Tour de France is going to be immense, and it's going to keep him in that top 10 probably for the entirety of the season. And that, especially with a training structure of 4, that is a very strong candidate to see that training structure increase by another point to a 5. Eritrea is rising fast. The funny thing was, I actually just saw an article 2 or 3 days ago, IRL, about Girmay and the rise of Eritrea, oddly enough. While Girmay did not take any additional stages, just the single stage victory, he managed to hang on and win the points classification with 399 points to Philipsen's 309, the real life almost certain winner with a huge lead at this point. Ayuso was leading early on and fairly comfortable, but it's Primoz Roglic who has come from behind to overtake him. And unlike real life, where we have 2 UAE riders on the podium while Jumbo-Visma winning, here you have Jumbo-Visma winning and 2 Jumbo-Visma riders on the podium with Vingegaard, the actual real life rider. Which, speaking of, here's I haven't really talked about the Tour de France within the series this year. Been really busy. Normally I watch half the stages live, or at least catch the last hour or 2 of them as I'm on the Pacific coast of the US, where at the time it's happening in real life, I'm waking up and it's the later portion of a stage, and I'll catch the last hour or so of a stage and then go back and watch the highlights of the earlier portions, if I need to or want to. But this year I've just been way too busy, and so I've just watched highlights for each and every stage. So I haven't felt that commentary is suitable when I don't quite know what's happening, and just catching highlights. But anyway, super close race throughout, and a lot of drama, a lot of excitement. What was it, 6 seconds separating Vingegaard and Pogacar, and then those last couple of stages absolutely blowing up that gap to over 7 minutes, which is absolutely shocking. And then it's actually really close still for that 3rd spot on the podium, with the 2 Yates brothers both in the top 5, and Carlos Rodriguez, which of course Rodriguez is one of those riders that I had on my team. And what was it, PCM20 or 20? No, 21, I think it was, where I had Carlos Rodriguez as being one of our key riders for a while, but they weren't showing him as having terribly high potential. So he kind of peaked and we had to move on from him. But great job from him to be almost on the podium, currently in 4th place. But there's really only a couple minutes separating 3rd to, 6th, 7th, or a couple minutes separating 4th to 9th. It's still close there, but there's not very many opportunities left. I think stage 20 is really the only reasonable chance to see any difference in the timings of those top 10 riders. Otherwise, things are pretty well set at this point. And of course, Vingegaard looks like highly likely to take yellow in Paris. Here, Pogacar ends up 4.5 minutes down in 5th place. Then the big jump. Also, another surprising thing for me about what's going on in the real life Tour de France is a few key riders who are normally in or about the top 10 being hours behind in the GC. Bernal. Let me glance through the rankings here just to kind of call out a few names off the top of my head that are way down. Moss is way down. Lutsenko is another one who is definitely well down in the standings. A few key guys that are certainly usually battling it out for top 10 positions in the GC. Nowhere to be seen. Since we're on the page, another quick update on where we stand as a team. Currently 35th, which I think is where we were last time we checked. Now at 1,300 points and climbing. And we are about to enter the Castilla Leon major objective with our shot at a super success for the first time possible. Breakaway has 3 minutes. We have 44 kilometers left. The field has 8 riders with a 78 or better, 78 to 80 hills rating. We have 2 stages only to try to get a stage win. This first one, not very punchy. We're going to try to take advantage of the fact that it's not very punchy. We're going to try to treat it as a sprint, which means we're going to try to set up Gibbons for the stage win. Stage 2 is definitely a lot punchier, but again, there's 8 riders that have a 78 or 80 base difficulty level, means 80 plus, and our best guy is literally a 73, meaning we are nowhere near their level. We're close to 10 points behind the level of the others. You could overcome 3, 4, maybe 5 points variation attribute wise relatively easy. Overcoming 10 points is incredibly hard. 19k to go. We are about to begin the proper climb. I'm going to wait until we hit probably the first Cat 3 here, I think, before I begin to activate our team. However, we absolutely want to hold position and not be drifting back. We don't want to be trying to charge through the field. So for now, you can see there's already the beginnings of an acceleration setting things up here with 19 kilometers to go. I think I do need to take a second here, and we're going to increase it a little bit further to an 88 now, and then we're going to take our domestiques, gel up with them now to get that little boost. Or it's too late because it does look like the pace is going to be pretty high the rest of the way. Still a minute and a half to the breakaway. Not a guarantee we're going to catch them, but with the uphill section, and they've been out front the entire day, just the 3 of them, you figure they're not going to have a lot left, and just like that, gap comes down by half a minute in what, kilometer and a half. Okay, so we hit that first little category 3. You get the slightest of descents. And let's see, where is... Let's now take Zerai and Kudos. Get them back forward in position. 12k to go, and a fair bit of it is downhill. Zerai, what's the deal, bud? 93, and you can't recover your position. And right here, that's it. It's time. It's time. We're going to give it a shot and see what happens with Samuels, as he is out of red bar, but he's got plenty of yellow. Will a 99 effort, yellow alone, be enough to bring him forward? Not really. And we're at 10k. How much climbing do we have to do? Half of it. About 5k worth of climbing. 8k to go. And as we go through there, around that corner, now's the time to put our foot down, I think. Let me double check where we're at now. Yeah, not as much. We want to be at the front when we start the descent, because that's the key to taking the win here, I think. So Gabrayevet brought us forward just a little bit more, but he didn't have any red bar left. But we get over that little section, hit that little descent, and he gets us out front. But to stay there, it's time to move on to Moulebron. There you go. That gets us out front. That's perfect. Right as we're going over the top, that's where we need to be. 3.5k. So we are starting a soft sprint with Moulebron. Gabrayevet, drop to the back of this thing, help break toe. We are still sprinting with Moulebron, technically. 2k. Zerai. 1k. Oh man. Oh man. Oh, this is way too late. Zerai is best placed. Man, that snuck up so fast because of the descent. Yeah, I misjudged that. I definitely should have gone early. But the punchy guys with that little uphill swing had a big advantage. We get 6th is all. Yikes. Field does split a bit, so we are well placed for GC, with stage 2 being the more decisive one for the GC. We might have to rely on kind of finishing in the top 5 in the overall to offset, because it's going to be really hard to win a stage against those guys, especially on that next stage that's properly punchy uphill. I was hoping to take advantage of the descent, but it was gone in a flash. I had some downhill guys, De Villiers in particular, lined up, but by the time we're pushing over the top, I had too many guys out in front. When it comes to objectives, fitness peaks, and planning accordingly, when you have expected, net positive days, it's inevitable that you are always going to be a little closer to 0 than you are to what the actual expected net is, because of that whole you can't go beyond +5. So if you do draw beyond +5, it doesn't really show up. So you're always going to expect to have, a -2, -3 net. You do better than that, you get neutral, you're having a really good day. And it's common to have worse than that. But the -2, -3 to net is fairly standard. That's what I had on stage 1. We had, I think, exactly a -3 compared to what was expected. Right now, because of the calendar and the way it was, I could only manage to have, I think it was 3 riders. Yeah, 3 riders that are actually set for the objective and fitness peak for this one. So those 3 had a +5, +5, +4 on the expected. Everybody else had 0s. So our expected net was a +14. And we had about a 11 or 12 on stage 1. But today, ouch. It's only a +5. So we have a -9 compared to what's expected with 7 riders. So we have worse than a -1 per rider on average. But that's only half the story. My 4 best climbers, which is what we need today, all 4 of them have red. All 4 of them have a negative race day condition. I think we are in a huge amount of trouble on our chances at succeeding on this objective, both in winning the stage or countering it with some sort of top 5 performance. Climb 2.5k, 8%, topping out at 12.8 is 2k from the finish. So it's really about a 5 kilometer or 4.5 kilometer climb. Let's round that up to about 5k. 5k is not bad. That's pretty punchy territory. De Villiers and Gabrayevet should not be the guys we're relying on. 64 mountain base, even with a +5, he's still only a 70. That is not going to be enough. But he does have 78 stamina, so I think he can hang in there with the pace. Same with De Villiers, who's got a 71 today. 78 for the stamina. So I'm going to be putting those 2 at the tail end. Let's go ahead and form up, even though it's still 16k, but a lot of it is a very quick descent here, and we've got to get in position, which we weren't really properly in position last time. Gibbons, 67, 71 stamina. No, that's not enough. We have to use his descending. Samuels is a good descender, and that's what we're about to do. But Zerai and Kudos, they're done already. So I think we're going to have to rely on Samuels and Gibbons on the climb, because that's what we have. That is what we have. So Mulebron, not a great descender. Sarai, kudos, just follow. These guys are done already. One rider left off the front. Monk should be reeled in here pretty soon. We don't need to be going crazy right now. We will go 99 on the descent itself. Gracie attacking. Gibbons is going to have to hit the base of the climb. I'm going to have 4 guys to navigate 5 kilometers, so I only need about a kilometer each on that. Okay, Mulebron, start pushing that 99. As the ramp goes down, down, down. Yeah, there you go. No red bar. There's a little bit of pace left wanting out of him, but 99 downhill. Yeah, you can see the downhill. Even now, he's actually starting to get that little bit of red bar. So Samuels will gel for him. Mulebron's actually recovering right now. He's going to get us the first little piece of the ramp, but as soon as it's gone, we're on to Gibbons. Now, Gibbons is not very punchy. He's only 68, which means he's only going to do so much damage down the line. And he's already gotten us more than a kilometer. Gel up for those final 2. Okay, he's out of the red bar. I'm going to get him a little more push. We're inside 1K on Samuels. Samuels just doesn't have much to get an acceleration beyond him. And there goes the fastest guys. It's still 3K to the finish. And Gabrayevet and De Villiers are only going to be able to push so hard here. Okay, we've got to go. We've got to go. 2.6. Gabrayevet comes out. We're going to catch the 3, but 1 got away in Griso. And De Villiers... Whoa. Gosh. I click on De Villiers and it pops us back here. Freaked me out there for a second. But that's because things shifted as these guys lost contact. We are down to a front 13 plus 1, so there's 14 riders here away. We did get that separation of about 57 or so. If there's 1 or 2 riders in this mix that didn't make that 57, we're looking at 4 riders in the top 10. That's going to be good. That is a chance to get a plus to offset the fact that we are going to fail. We are absolutely going to fail. There's no way we're getting a top 3 right here. But all of these guys need to be sprinting all the way to the finish now that they're out of red bars. So Gabrayevet, give me your sprint and lead out De Villiers that little bit more inside the last kilometer. And De Villiers, go, 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 go. Push up a few positions. But yeah, I mean, at best he would have been about 4th. You're not beating Ben Healy with his 80 hill, 76 acceleration. He can't even win. Risu does hang on. Hershey, Ben Healy, Valens, Aaron Burrow. Look at that list. I mean, and Zingel's got an 80 as well. De Villiers takes 8th. Gabrayevet takes 9th. Gibbons gets 11th. And there's your splits in the field. Jake Stewart, definite gaps here. 45 seconds down to these guys. So we're going to be well placed in the GC. We've definitely got riders that are going to be in the top 10. But that's all we're going to manage. I don't know if that's going to be enough to offset the super success because we failed. We did not crack the top 3 even. So we absolutely failed on the objective. It's going to see a drop. Will a top 10 offset it? I don't think so. I don't think so. I think we're going to be on success only. Okay, confirmation of top 15 getting same time other than Grisu getting plus 14 seconds. So we were half a minute ahead of everybody else. All it took was a few seconds separation to really split things, especially anything more than 10. So the general, yeah, De Villiers 9th, Gibbons 10th, Samuels 13th, Gabrayevet 15th. And that's your top 15 there. We weren't placed high enough. These guys are way too strong. Grisu used his sprint to get away and then held on at the end. Surprisingly managed to do that. Probably had a plus 5. Hershey, I mean, we're talking 74 sprint, 80 acceleration, and 78 hills. 74 medium mountain on the lead up till that. and then those bonuses on top of it. But then, Ben Healy with an 80 hills and 76 acceleration. Olaire's a 78. Aaron Burrow, a 77. Velens is a 78. Shaw's a 76. And Stewart's a sprinter with a 79. So everything we were up against was a lot stronger than our guys. And no matter how well we set it up, I got 4 guys in at the end, but just none of them could beat the quality of the competition we had, unfortunately. And I think we're in a bit of trouble right now. And there's nothing else we can do. We are headed for August 1st. We're headed for the July 31st sponsor signing deadline in a couple of days. There's no more racing to make up for it. So sad, but it is exactly as I expected. It was one race too far, one too much. These races are all after the deadline, will not change things. Signings on the 31st. Did we even get bonuses? We got one plus, but it did not offset the failure. And you can see that registered riders and squad eval just, it got worse and worse, and we haven't gotten any bonuses since Mullebron's popularity fell off slightly, though it did increase here of late, and Gibbons was falling off, and so there the squad eval was worse, not better. So close, but those national championships, man, are we missing those. It's slowing down our rate of progression for sure. I mean, it just cost us another 8,000, and that's 8,000 just for next season. It's many seasons of suffering through that. Nonetheless, we will see an increase, another 7K coming to the budget for next year. We'll be up to 74. We're going to be spending well below that, so our finances are in good shape. But as we do improve, as we reach that Continental Pro stage and can attract bigger, better talent, no, that's not even an issue, is it? It's going to be about retention. Doesn't matter now. We have one guy, Gabraevet, with an expiring contract, and we're going to let him go because he's only a puncher, and there's already plenty of better options. But while it doesn't matter for the coming season, it will matter the season after when we go to re-sign guys and they've improved to a point where they're going to demand a lot more money, and especially probably the season after that, right? This is about future seasons that this is hurting. Just adds to the challenge, I guess, and I'm up for it. So let's go sign our sponsor contract, probably with Zulu Kingdom again. We'll see if there's another African option that shows up. Well, another easy decision with no African offers besides Zulu, so we stay with him for another year. I didn't expect for this to be the transfer special, but I think I'm going to end up squeezing it in here because it's actually going to be very quick and easy in a painful sort of manner. We are only 3.5 stars. We've gotten from 3 guys up to 4 in that manner, but we have not seen any progression to any 4-star riders yet, and progression has been actually kind of slow with the team this year. And again, so much of that's coming down to the trainers situation. We have the wrong trainers. We don't have high quality trainers. That's all there is in Africa, so we're having a difficult time getting rapid progression out of our guys. There's potential, but achieving that potential is slow, a lot slower than what I'm used to, and that's keeping us in Continental for the time being. Also, in terms of what's available, there isn't the quality there either. We can't reach out and get it. We're a Continental team with no profile, no reputation. The big guys don't want to sign with us, and there's only one big guy in Africa anyway. That's not over the age of 36, 37 at this point. That's on the verge of retiring. Added to the difficulties, I only have one expiring contract on the entire team in Gabraevet, so he's out. Okay, easy. But that means I only have $2,500 in expiring money, and we only have an increase of 7,000. I only have a budget of 14,400. That's 5 riders on a minimum salary. One of them, 2 of them, 500 more. That's it. So it's going to be a prospect kind of year and just a handful of guys. And every single target that I was seeking are all on the dossiers quite comfortably. I had leftover points. There's nobody else to spend those points on to get after that I had any interest in trying to sign. Kabir is one of those only maybe-ish kind of guys. He's only 3.5 stars. He's not great. He's not great at all. He's 72 mountain, 73 medium mountain, 72 hills, 66 stamina. So one of the only known names in Africa outside of Gurmai. He's already 30. Would have cost a lot of points. Didn't want to sign with us anyway. So fine, be that way. And while there are 4-star prospects like Binyam Muhammad, this is what they offer. Barely a 74 or 75 kind of mountain eventually. Well, that's not good enough. There's better prospects than that on our team right now, and there's better prospects than that within this bunch. I was able to get everybody to 100% except one, and I think this is one that I will probably pass on. He was okay as a prospect. I wouldn't mind having him, but he's probably going to cost extra because we didn't get the 100%, so I'm almost certainly going to be choosing from the others on the list anyway. And so in the bunch, this is the key rider. This is a future leader. He's a 5-star stage raiser, 5.5-star climber. You can see just how good he is. Time trialing won't be fantastic, but he's also really punchy at 5.5 stars there as well. So a really good mountain and hills rating is something that I can take a long ways and utilize extremely well the way that I ride. So I can make use of that. The time trialing being will limit what he's capable of, but stage races without time trials, he could do quite well once he pushes towards that development. He's 19 right now. He's only a 66, 62 right now, but we're going to bring him in-house and help him develop. We certainly can't afford a U23 team anytime soon at the rate we're going. So I've got him signed for a minimum. I was thinking about shortening the deal and then trying to turn around and re-sign him before he gets too good, but we're already seeing that our rate of progression is actually really slow, so it's easier to just lock somebody up, and especially we don't have any 3-year deals right now, and we're not going to be signing very many riders, so we don't want to be adding into the large number of expiring contracts in the next 2 years, so I'm probably going to just do 3-year deals on the whole bunch, as that bunch is probably only going to contain 5 riders anyway. And we're at 7 and 9 for the next 2 years. This one's a weird signing for me. I don't normally go this direction, but right now the best rider we have is 3.5. This is a current 3.5 with 4.5 potential, but he's a Barrador and time trialist. Winning a time trial could be a pretty useful thing for us, but having somebody with a high flat rating is something I completely lack. This would put him into our sprint team as a lead-out rider in that preparation, and it's an area we struggle so mightily with. And as he's from another minor nation, well, it's worth a shot. He'll help support the sprint team. Things unfortunately fall off pretty quick after that. There's not much more to choose from, which I suppose makes sense that we're only signing 5 riders in this case. But Atangana is the next guy we're going to go after. He's from Cameroon. This is another one of those very, very low-rated nations. Decent puncher prospect, decent ability at climbing. Not a sprinter, though, so he is going to be a domestique. But, maybe one of those days he'll have a +5 and be able to go out and win something. Very much lack those lead-out riders, so good flat rating is definitely important, but also classics riders. And we're going to get both out of this and some help in the time trial. Definite domestique for us in most circumstances, but the Rwandan is our 4th signing. Back to Burhi, the only guy we didn't get to 100%, and he really is the next best prospect that's out there. Combination of climbing and hills rating is definitely better than any of our other choices. However, this is not somebody I'm willing to go deep for, but we've got so many points. It's going to be easy to talk to him and then walk away if it's not a good deal. 3 years is the obvious that I'm looking for all of them. And let's see, luxury teammates, not enough, but we can push for important rider and see what that does. And I'm not touching this salary, so we are close. I do have 3K is okay for a guy like this, but I'm really not going to go much beyond that. And he does. Okay, so he signs for 3K. It cost me 500 to sign this guy. I was saying that was acceptable, and he's the last one that we're signing it was really okay to spend that 500 more. But that does lock us up. That does finish the deal. 5 riders. That's it for the coming year. None of them are going to provide any immediate help, though. Burhe's, 3 stars currently. It'll put him in the mix for one of our current riders. But this is long-term prospects. And the long-term prospects we have right now, already, we're seeing are growing rather slowly. One thing that I'm going to try to do that I haven't tried to do in the past, I've tried to update trainers mid-save to see that it does not work. But I've never tried, that was trying to add new trainers in. They don't show up year after year. You never see them. I've never tried to update existing trainers to change their nation or anything along those lines to add to the pool a little bit. I'm going to see if I can do that. And as we get into the turn of the year, maybe I'll have a couple more options for what we can play with. Because right now, there's just no African staff. There's a single groundbreaking trainer in the entire database, period. 1. And he's not good. And you can only train 8 riders before you fall off that cliff and lose effectiveness. So I can only train 8 riders at a time. Even if I don't have the greatest groundbreaking one, even if I have another mediocre one, we need a second. 16 is not even enough, but at least it would be a game changer for us to see at least some progression out of these riders. Otherwise, we're going to have a long-term problem on our hands. And if it doesn't work, we have a long-term problem on our hands, and I just deal with it. But I'd like to have one more available. I'll see what I can do with that one. That is going to do it for this episode, though. I snuck in our signing special this time. These are supposed to be great episodes, but it was a really minor year for it. Definitely not the same thing we are used to, just 13K worth of signings, but we only had so much budget increase available, and there was only 1 expiring contract. It is what it is. Next year we'll have 7 expiring contracts, and we definitely won't return all 7 of them, though we will certainly return some of them. So there will be some new faces coming in, and it won't all just be prospects. We will have some continued development internally, but just how much can we get out of these guys? And it's so sad that we couldn't quite pull off the super success. But you know what? That's just something to strive for next season. That's going to do it for this episode, though. I'm Decathlon Gamer. Like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Have a good one. Be safe out there. Bye for now.